You're not recovering in bed, you're performing exhaustion for the same invisible audience that already broke you. Your body didn't quit, it fired you. You convinced yourself that lying in bed for 16 hours straight is laziness. That scrolling until your eyes burn and your thumb aches from swiping is procrastination. That not showering for 3 days, letting your hair mat against the pillow is a moral failing. But here's what you're actually experiencing: nervous system shutdown. Your brain has detected a threat it can't fight or flee from: the relentless demand to optimize yourself into content, to perform productivity like a circus act. So it freezes. Bed rotting isn't the problem. It's your body's last firewall against a performance that never ends. The exhaustion you feel isn't from doing nothing. It's from spending years doing everything for an audience you can't even see anymore, parsing every decision through invisible eyes. Your parasympathetic nervous system has finally staged a coup and overridden your will. This is biology, not weakness. Your cortisol levels have been screaming for months, flooding your bloodstream with stress hormones designed for short-term survival. I know this because I lived it. 2 years ago, I was the person who posted morning routine videos while my hands shook from the third coffee I needed just to feel baseline. I journaled my gratitude before checking my phone, then immediately opened Instagram to see how the previous day's wellness content performed. The click of the app icon became a reflex I couldn't control. I meditated for the aesthetic, timing my breath work to fit 15-second clips. I meal prepped for the before and after, arranging salmon and sweet potatoes under ring light perfection. I optimized my sleep with blackout curtains and magnesium supplements so I could wake up earlier to optimize more. Every act of self-care had a second audience, not my friends, not even my followers really. The internalized voice that said, if you're healing in private, are you even healing at all? I told myself I was building discipline. I was actually building a stage. And one morning I couldn't get out of bed, not couldn't. Here's the mechanism you need to understand. When you perform wellness, when you do yoga in front of a mirror, track your habits in a shareable format, or choose the salad because someone might be watching, you activate your social engagement system. That's the part of your nervous system designed for connection and evaluation by others. It requires energy, constant vigilance, image management. Real recovery happens in the ventral vagal state, safety without performance. That parasympathetic zone where your heart rate drops, your digestion resumes, and your body believes it's genuinely safe. But you haven't felt that in years. Every bath became a potential post with perfect lighting and positioned candles. Every book became proof you're intellectual, photographed with coffee at the exact aesthetic angle. Every walk became steps on a leaderboard, routes mapped and shared. Your rest had metrics. Your healing had KPIs. And your nervous system, which cannot tell the difference between a real predator and chronic social evaluation, stayed in threat mode. The amygdala remained activated. Cortisol stayed elevated. The cruelest part, you know exactly who the audience is. It's not your followers, half of them aren't even paying attention. It's not your family or your friends, it's the internalized surveillance camera you installed in your own head. The one that whispers, someone might ask what you did today, someone might judge how you spend your time, someone might think you're lazy or undisciplined or not trying hard enough. So you perform for a hypothetical jury that never delivers a verdict. You greenlight your own reality show and then resent having to star in it. This is what psychologists call external locus of evaluation, a concept psychologist Carl Rogers identified when studying anxiety in high-achieving students. You've outsourced your worth to an invisible tribunal. And the worst part, the tribunal is you. You're the prosecutor cross-examining your choice to watch TV Tuesday night, the judge sentencing you for sleeping in Saturday morning, and the defendant scrambling to justify basic rest. And you keep finding yourself guilty of resting, of existing without productivity. A 2023 study in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that people who tracked their wellness habits for social sharing showed a 42% decrease in intrinsic recovery quality compared to those who tracked privately. Their rest became another task. Their self-care became self-surveillance. The researchers called it performative restoration, the act of engaging in recovery behaviors primarily for external validation rather than internal regulation. And here's the kicker. The subjects reported feeling more exhausted after their wellness routines than before because they were simultaneously resting and being evaluated. One participant described photographing her morning meditation setup, adjusting the candle angle 3 times, filtering the light, then sitting down already tense. You can't activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the biological rest and digest mode that drops cortisol and slows heart rate, while your brain is calculating how this moment will look to others. You can't sleep deeply while rehearsing tomorrow's productivity performance. Your body knows the difference between real safety and performed safety, and it refuses to heal in a surveillance state, even when you're the one holding the camera. Sound familiar? The shame spiral that starts at 2 p.m. when you're still in bed. The mental arithmetic: if I get up now, shower quickly, I can still salvage this day and not be a complete failure. But you don't get up, not because you're lazy, because your body has done the cost-benefit analysis your conscious mind won't admit. Getting up means returning to the performance. Showering means preparing for the stage. Eating means documenting fuel for your followers. Moving means metrics, steps counted, calories logged, proof of productivity posted. And your nervous system has decided in its ancient wisdom that the threat of being seen as lazy is less dangerous than the certainty of performing yourself to death. This is called adaptive shutdown. It's the same mechanism that makes possums play dead when fighting and fleeing both fail. The biological emergency brake mammals evolved millions of years ago. You're not broken. You're using a functional survival strategy against an environment that treats your existence as content. This is where my story turned. I stopped asking why am I so lazy and started asking who am I performing for right now. The answer was terrifying. I was performing rest. Even in bed, I was curating the narrative of my breakdown so it would make sense to an imaginary audience. I was rotting aesthetically, suffering with good lighting, angling my laptop screen just right to catch the glow against my unwashed hair. The breakthrough came when I deleted my tracking apps and didn't tell anyone. I took a bath without filming it, without positioning my phone against the shampoo bottles. I read a book and didn't add it to my Goodreads. I lay in bed for an entire Saturday and didn't justify it, document it, or turn it into content about burnout recovery. For the first time in 3 years, I did something only for me, no witness, no metrics, no performance, no proof it ever happened. And my nervous system, which had been clenched like a fist for months, finally exhaled. Here's what nobody tells you about real recovery. It's invisible. It doesn't trend. It can't be optimized. It looks like nothing from the outside, which is why it feels so wrong when you're conditioned to perform healing. Real rest is the absence of improvement. It's lying there without a narrative arc, staring at the ceiling at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. It's letting your body recalibrate without turning the recalibration into a journey worth posting about. The bed rotting you're ashamed of. That's your nervous system attempting true recovery for the first time in years, finally downregulating from chronic stress mode. But you keep interrupting it by performing shame for that same internalized audience. You're rotting wrong, you tell yourself. You should be rotting productively. You should emerge with insights, lessons, before and after proof, but that's still performance. The goal isn't to optimize your breakdown, it's to stop the optimization entirely. To exist without an audience, without metrics, without meaning. So here's your permission slip, not that you need one from me. You're allowed to rot badly, unproductively, without a lessons learned section or takeaways for LinkedIn. You're allowed to lie there and feel nothing and learn nothing and not turn it into growth content. You're allowed to waste a day by every metric that matters to the performance economy, every productivity hack that promised to optimize your existence. Because the performance economy is what broke you in the first place. Your body didn't fail you. It saved you from a stage you built without realizing it had no exit, no intermission, no backstage where you could drop the act. The exhaustion is real. The burnout is clinical, documented in studies tracking cortisol levels and nervous system dysregulation. But the laziness, that's a story you're telling because the truth that you've been working every moment of your life, including the moment specifically designated for rest, is too big to hold. Stop auditioning for your own life. The casting call is closed. There is no audience. There never was. Your nervous system doesn't speak English. It speaks threat and safety. And for years, you've been telling it that rest is dangerous, that being unproductive means being unworthy, that stopping the performance means losing your value. So it stayed in survival mode, burning through your reserves until there was nothing left to burn. Bed rotting is the white flag, the system reboot, the forced intermission in a show that was never supposed to end. If you take nothing else from this, take this. The shame you feel isn't evidence that you're failing. It's evidence that you're still performing shame for an audience, and that audience has already left the theater. It's just you now, in the quiet, in the mess, in the unoptimized, untracked, unshared truth of a body that finally refused to be content. In tomorrow's video, we'll explore why your brain manufactures crises the moment you finally start to heal, and what that reveals about the identity you built around being broken. Subscribe so you don't miss it. If this video resonated with you, hit subscribe. Uncomfortable Truths drops a new uncomfortable truth tomorrow and every day after on personal finance, psychology, relationships, and mindset, and more. Turn on notifications so you're first to see it. The truth is uncomfortable, but it's always worth it.